Well, it's a story you would think was plucked from a crime thriller. A high-profile lawyer turned police informant dishing the dirt on her own clients. Thousands of pages released overnight by the Lawyer X Royal Commission detail just how the trials of some of the nation's biggest drug criminals may well have been compromised. Counsel assisting the Commission, Chris Winnicky QC, with this damning assessment. And he says the Commission has seen that two of the participants, the barrister and the police, engaged in many cases, collusive behaviour that has potentially had catastrophic consequences to the criminal justice process. Walkley award-winning journalist and columnist for the Herald Sun, Patrick Carlyon, has been a key player in exposing the truth on this Lawyer X scandal, who joins me now from Melbourne. Paddy, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming on. You've been across this story from the get-go. There's a lot of material, I know, released last night, but what do you make of what you've read so far?
Well, I think what was released yesterday basically is another signpost in a very potted sort of scandal that goes back to 2014. You have convictions, as you said, of Tony Mokbel and Carl Williams and many others that stand to have been tainted by the police use of Nicola Gobbo as an informer. Now, on top of that, you have potential misconduct charges coming out yesterday for very senior police figures, including former Chief Commissioner Simon Overland and many of the Piranha detectives that were long celebrated for doing such a wonderful job of getting the arrest and convicting the gangland players back in the 2000s.
You're absolutely right. And Counsel submissions, they say Victoria Police should have informed these underbelly drug lords, including Tony Mokbel, along with the courts, of course. Nicola Gobbo was an informant. Now, I've got a law degree. It's a fundamental principle of justice that you can't act for the police and act for a defence client all at the same time. Now, does this give Mokbel a strong case for appeal? Is he going to take it up? Is he going to move on this?
Oh, look, Mokbel's been itching to get out of jail for years and years, ever since he realised that his lawyer, Nicola Gobbo, was actually working against him in many instances. Look, close observers who, fine minds of the law think that he has a very good chance of getting out of jail. Now, this process has been very slow, it's been very long. He's not going to get out next week, he's not going to get out next month. But in time, there's a very good chance that Tony Mokbel will walk from jail because his convictions are overturned.
Chris Winnicky said also of former Victorian Police Chief Commissioner Graham Ashton, and noted that Ashton expressed the view that the pub test, this is Ashton, is more acceptable standard for police than the rule of law requires. Now, we've talked about others. What do you regard Ashton's role in all of this?
Well, look, Ashton was wrapped up in the Gobbo saga going back to 2004. He worked for the Office of Police Integrity, and he was investigating the Hodgson killings back in 2004. So Nicola Gobbo came across his radar as early as then. Then he became aware that she was a police informer either in 06 or 07. That's a contentious point. But perhaps more importantly, more publicly, when this all came out at the end of 2018, he came out and said, very strongly that these are desperate times and that desperate measures were required. Now, the Royal Commission in these recommendations has slammed that sort of rhetoric, sort of arguing, well, that's how the ends justifying the means, and that sort of culture, which is true of many police forces around the world from time to time. But that's
the Nuremberg defence. I mean, that's the Nuremberg defence.
Well, we've heard a lot of the Nuremberg defence through the Royal Commission, where the detectives have said, well, I was following orders. What I was doing was known to my superiors. And nobody was saying I shouldn't be doing it, and I was told to do it. Reading through, and as you said, there are thousands of pages, reading through some of their submissions, that comes through again and again. Look, I was involved in this, but I'm not responsible for it. Somebody else must be.
We know if they are charged, if there are criminal charges laid at police, we're talking about 10 years plus in terms of a prison sentence. The head of the Commission, the head of the Royal Commission, Margaret McMurdo QC, says she won't be recommending charges be laid. She says that's up to the Victorian Director of Public Prosecutions. Do you think we'll see charges laid?
Look, Royal Commissions historically don't have a good sort of record for getting convictions. I think there was a Beach inquiry, as it was known back in the 70s in Victoria, that recommended 53 police officers get charged with various offences. I think 33 were charged and exactly 0 got convicted. So Royal Commissions aren't sort of a good measure of convictions against those who have been seen to do the wrong thing. Margaret McMurdo has sort of said, yes, she's not going to recommend charges against individuals. I think we're going to have to wait and see. At this stage, this is just another stepping stone in what will be a process that's going to go for years and years longer than where we're at the moment.
Yeah, there's something very, very rotten at all of this, Patrick Carlyon. Thank you for your time, and please, everyone, Patrick's got a book out, Lawyer X. It's available for pre-order from Booktopia, out Monday, September 7. I'll be lining up. I'm going to read it. I mean, this is just such an indictment on justice in Victoria.